What the fuck is up, juggalos? This is the Murder Mayhem Show. I'm the host, Mitchell, and I want to explain a little bit about what you're about to hear here. This week, the Murder Mayhem Show was recorded as a live stream, yes, from the Murder Mayhem Show YouTube channel. I did a live stream on Wednesday, March the 27th, 2019, and I did the show with a co-host this week for the first time. I've had interviews on the Murder Mayhem Show before, but this is the first time that someone has sat in with me for the entire show. I did that with Rone Bone of the Beneath the Dirt podcast. Rone Bone, him and I have had a few collaborations now, and people seem to enjoy it, so took some questions from the chat and whatnot, went over some topics there. So if you hear us refer in the episode to any dates, like if we say today, we're talking about Wednesday when it was recorded, so just keep that in mind. The other thing is that I have made a few trims and cuts and edits to the episode just to make it a little bit tighter, but nothing that would change the conversation at all. Like, I really try to do my best to keep the spirit of the conversation completely intact, so it's not like I went in and changed anybody's answers to anything. I didn't change the interview. I just trimmed a little bit of the filler that I thought made it easier to listen to and clearer to understand. So yeah, I had an awesome time recording it. This could very well be the new format of the Murder Mayhem Show. I approach it like a talk show. You know, those late night talk shows aren't live, don't you? They record that shit in front of an audience and then they go back and edit it later. That is exactly what I have done here. Nothing unethical about it whatsoever, but yeah, I just wanted to explain that a little bit before we get into the episode. So with that said, enjoy. Welcome to the Murder Mayhem Show live stream edition, featuring special guest of the night of the Beneath the Dirt podcast, Rone Bone.
What's going on?
There was a few things right off the bat that I wanted to get into. The Gathering website finally launched after days and days of delays. Have you had a chance to look through that at all?
Yeah, I skimmed through it. They put up, the performances so far, which is pretty much psychopathic acts. Mm-hmm. I think they just put something up about JCW. I haven't looked at that yet.
Yeah. I'm not sure that they announced any other wrestlers, but they announced some of the events that would be going on. So, yeah, just psychopathic acts, like you said. But even that is already something we're talking about, because with all the talk of like who's on the label, who's not on the label, this and that, speculations, I feel like this website really put a lot of that to rest, because there you have every artist. It's the same lineup that's listed on psychopathicrecords.com, same lineup that they've been having for years. So Hoodoo, ABK, Light, Ouija, DJ Clay, ICP. Is that everyone?
Sounds like it to me.
Yeah, so I'm taking this as just more reinforcement that they are still, in fact, on Psychopathic. What say you?
I say it gives us hope that they're still on Psychopathic.
You're not convinced? You don't sound convinced.
I'm not fully convinced until I see them. Yeah, it's cool to see ABK and Light in the graphics, scheduled to perform, shit like that. I want them on Psychopathic. It's not that I don't want them on Psychopathic, but yeah, it gives me hope that they're still there, especially with ABK. Light, I never really questioned Light. I don't know why, but with ABK, seeing him scheduled to perform, and Clay too, because Clay just disappeared off the Shaggy tour out of nowhere. So dope to see him performing. I know he's working on his new album as well.
Plus, another thing that was kind of on my mind was like, I wonder what ICP's relationship is with Esham ever since that tour got canceled out of the blue. I haven't really seen them say much of anything about each other since then, but just as planned, Supervillains is going down at the Gathering, just as announced and has always been the case. So no worries there. I also noticed that they mentioned that Supervillains is just Esham and ICP. So that's good. That's the way that I thought it should have been anyway. So
yeah, that's hearing that it's just ICP and Esham is dope to know, because it should have always been just ICP and Esham like it originally was supposed to be. I'm hyped for a Supervillains reunion. If Esham's going to come as hard as he did on that Cypher, and Violent J is coming as hard as he has been coming, like with Fearless Fred Fury, I think we're in for some throwback feels with some new Supervillains material, if there is any coming out.
Yeah, that's the other big question. What is the nature of this reunion? Nobody knows. The only thing that has been said about it was the big Supervillains banner that came down during ICP set of last year's Gathering. But it's like, does that mean new music? What does that mean? There's also, of course, the greatest hits album that never materialized. It was advertised in Fred Fury to come out probably like 2 weeks ago now. So maybe that'll be something that comes out at the Gathering. I don't know. But so far, even just with the base amount of information that is on that website, I'm already happy. I'm just glad to see the Psychopathic family there, plus Esham. It's like, shit. Even in a world where Psychopathic said, we're totally broke, we have no money, we can't afford to pay anyone else to come to the Gathering other than these people, I would say that still sounds awesome, because I like all those people. So so far it's shaping up to be pretty good Gathering, if you ask me. You are planning on attending the Gathering, right?
I am.
You better make it now, because now people know you. Now that you've been doing the podcast and shit.
It should be good. And I remember Esham posting before even Fearless Fred Fury came out, I think before even the original release date, him saying shit, being in the studio with Violent J. It was either on Twitter or Instagram. I don't really remember. But I vaguely remember him kind of giving hints that they were in the studio or something along those lines.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know if I remember that or not. Sounds like something that would have happened. I was a little surprised to see no Esham whatsoever on Fred Fury. Did that surprise you? Nope, not even a production credit or a verse or anything. I was kind of thinking there would be.
Yeah, that totally surprised me. I thought for sure we were going to get a feature, production, background vocals, something. I was expecting to see Esham's name kind of all over it, to be honest, because I mean, we had no idea who was producing the shit. End up being a mix of a bunch of different people mixing it, but yeah, I was surprised to see no Esham.
Either way, I assume that we're probably doing I don't know if it's on the website or not, but if Esham's there for Supervillains, then I imagine he's probably doing a solo set as well, don't you think?
I would assume so, yeah. Probably a late night like he usually does. Didn't he play like for 4 hours a couple years ago?
I don't know. That sounds awesome, though. If he did, then I didn't see that. But last year he was on the main stage and he had like a band with him and it sounded awesome.
Yeah, I remember a few years ago he played for like 4 hours and then he announced that he would never play the Gathering again.
Yeah, and then he played the Gathering right after that.
Right.
Speaky Clout says, what is your favorite Esham album, Mitch? I'm going to go with Boomin' Words from Hell. That's usually what I stick with for that question. What about yourself, Rone?
Closed Casket. I love that album. I just did a review with Speaky Clout on their YouTube. It was dope reliving that album. His production, the shit he must have been going through at that time in his life, like so much pain in those lyrics, just some fucked up shit. I love that album.
Yeah, it's a good one. And I don't profess to be like an Esham expert really, so I kind of don't feel too qualified to answer the question, but I stick with Boomin' Words from Hell as my favorite because it's just like you can't go wrong with that. It's kind of like his Carnival of Carnage, and then it's like,
Yeah.
it's so raw.
The best part about Booming Words is he recorded that shit when he was 13 years old.
Oh my gosh, really? Yeah, see,
Yeah.
I didn't realize he was that young. Jesus.
13 and rapping about that shit.
He sounds
That's
terrifying.
nuts.
Yeah.
If I had a kid, he's 13, rapping about that shit, I'd whoop his ass. I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. I mean, that came out in what, like 1989?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like the beginnings of rap in a lot of ways, but especially like the beginning of like gangster rap and horrorcore and stuff. So yeah, he was definitely a pioneer.
Ahead of his time for sure.
Oh yeah.
Rapping
Way
about
ahead
the
of
devil
time.
and shit.
Yeah, now it's no big deal.
No.
It's like, well, yeah, no big deal.
Yeah.
Let's see, we got anything else in the chat here? Scruffy says Closed Casket is a wicked shit textbook. The wicked shit textbook.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I probably need to go through and do like a whole run of just like Esham albums just to reacquaint myself with each of them.
I'd say anything before he signed to Psychopathic, just even with Nadas.
Yeah, Nadas is another thing that I know pretty much nothing about.
Oh man.
I know. There's a lot of shit out there that I just don't.
Yeah, I'm glad. You know what? If it wasn't for ICP, before ICP, I was a fucking metalhead. I listened to Pantera, old school Metallica, Alice in Chains, just straight rock shit. I wasn't into rap at all, really much. A little bit of Snoop, a little bit of Bone Thugs, but listening to ICP just sucked me in. I was in the Juggalo world deep for like 2 years, listening to nothing but ICP and Twisted pretty much. And then I started branching out, and that's when I found groups like 3-6, even more Bone Thugs, and then like underground shit like Esham and Nadas. And I fucking love Esham and Nadas. They're, man, fucking legends and inspire so many people that probably don't even know it at this point.
Right.
That make wicked shit.
Sure. And like you also got to consider like he influenced Eminem and Eminem influenced like everybody
right.
Maybe not everybody, but
a lot of people.
Yeah, so that alone is just like it starts with him.
Yeah, absolutely. Fucking Esham is that dude, man. Way ahead of his time. His production was way ahead of his time. His sampling, all that shit.
Yeah, that's the other like super impressive thing about him being that young is he was producing all his own shit, right? So
yeah, and he was recording all that shit like Booming Words, Judgment Day, Kill the Fetus in his mom's house, in his bedroom.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that'll be cool if he shows up at the gathering. Something else I wanted to talk about was the Brother EPs. Violent J's Brother EP, went on sale today and sold out today? Is that right? They're certainly sold out now. So
yep,
good luck on that. $25 for a 4-track EP, 5-track, I think. But is that right?
I think it was 4.
I think it's 4 songs and an intro.
Yep.
So, yeah. Speaking of that E&J tour, those were the leftover VIP exclusive albums, quote unquote VIP exclusives. I don't know, worth the price? I'm not buying one. You're an audio guy though, so you probably got to have it, right? Did you try to buy one?
Oh, I got one right when I saw it go up. I bought it within 10 minutes of it being up.
Right.
I'm hoping for that new,
of course you are.
Steve meets Abu. I doubt I'll get it, but hey, it's worth a shot.
Steve meets Abu. Weird name for a CD. 200 of those being included randomly with the Brother EPs that are going out. 2 songs, they said. And one of them is called Steve Meets Abu, and the other one is called Frog.
Right.
So God only knows what the fuck that's about. I'm thinking it might have something to do with the next Joker's card. I don't know. I think there'll be some kind of clue in there. That's how ICP is. If they already have the idea in mind, they can't stop themselves from like putting out little clues and weird shit like that. So Yeah, definitely curious.
Yeah. I'm still salty over the E&J tour cancellation. I had the VIP for that tour, so I should have already have that fucking CD. But now I got to drop 25 bones on it. Is what it is.
I did VIP for Shaggy's tour, and they didn't have any of the Gloomy Sunday CDs, and they said they were gonna mail them out, and I never got one. So that sucks.
You still haven't fucking got one?
No, so I don't expect to ever see it.
I just seen people just started receiving their Hell Cellar vinyl that they pre-ordered at the Gathering last year, like within the last week.
Oh yeah, well it didn't come out until like the day Fred Fury came out, I think, or somewhere close to that, I think.
Yeah.
So it didn't even come out at all until recently. But
yeah, but I guess I bring that up just to say that I guess maybe in due time you'll get it, because people were convinced that they weren't going to get their pre-orders that they placed at the Gathering last year.
Yeah, but that's like a much bigger deal. Like if those never shipped out, then people would be complaining about that a lot. Whereas I feel like this tour EP is just going to go under the radar. Like it'll just be forgotten. They'll just be sitting on a shelf somewhere. It's psychopathic. So
right,
who knows? But I don't really mind that much. It's just annoying that shit like that happens, especially because you got 2 of them, you bastard. I knew they were going to run out. At the start of the tour, you said that they were giving out 2 of them to people.
Yeah, the show that I went to, like probably about halfway through the giving out the lanyards and CDs to people, because it was the first day the CDs showed up and they ran out of lanyards. And by the time I got up there and he's like, here's 2 CDs. We don't have no lanyards. And I was like, oh shit, now they're giving out. So they're probably going to be doing this for the next few dates of the tour, giving everybody 2 CDs.
I saw it coming. So did you ever get a lanyard? Did they say they were going to mail it, or did they just...
No, I ended up buying one off somebody from the museum for like $7.
Oh yeah, I got a lanyard, so they must have got more lanyards at one point, but whatever.
Yeah, I like that Gloomy Sunday EP a lot.
Yeah, I like it a lot because I like 2 of the tracks on it, and then the other 2 I don't really like. But when you're talking about a 4-song EP, 2 good songs on it is a lot. I mean, I call that a good album.
Yeah,
if 2 of the 4 are good, which on the Brother CD, I gotta say it again, the only one that I really like on the Brother CD is that Best Friend song, which is the corniest song on that CD. In fact, maybe one of the corniest songs ICP has ever put out.
Oh,
I really enjoy it a lot. It's the only one that I continually go to off that Brother EP, even though I know that first track is a lot more like classic ICP wicked shit. I'm sticking with the Best Friend song. It's the only reason I would even consider buying that Brother EP would be because I like that song. But yeah, I would take the Gloomy Sunday over the Brother for sure. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
The only song I like really on the Brother EP is the first song. Definitely sounds like a Fearless Fred Fury outtake.
Yeah, I bet it was. And Gloomy Sunday, I like the first track, the Gloomy Sunday one, but I really liked the second track, which was the MC Ren cover.
Yep.
Oh my God, that song is so awesome.
It really is.
That's like one of the best ICP songs of the last like 10 years.
I agree.
Like I can't say enough good things about that song. I love it.
Yeah, he killed that cover. Absolutely.
Even like the beat, it like took just the right amount and changed just the right amount from the original to like keep it awesome, but still make it its own. I listened to that song over and over and over again, but yeah, it just has been relegated to a tour giveaway for whatever reason. I don't know. Some people at the time said maybe it was because of sampling issues and stuff, but clearly ICP wasn't too worried about sampling issues.
Right.
Look at Flip the Rat, and even Fred Fury has a bunch of stuff on there that makes you say, I wonder if they cleared all this. Flip the Rat especially, where it's just like blatantly taking big chunks of other songs. So
yeah, and the Game Over track with all those video game samples.
Yeah, I was just listening the other day in my car. I have like every Psychopathic CD on a USB drive that I just keep on shuffle in my car, so I never know what song's going to come up. And that Twisted I Got 5 on It cover came up, and I was just listening to that like, how do they get away with putting that on a national album? But worked out, I guess, and that song is awesome.
Yeah, I would imagine that sample would be a nice little chunk of change to pay off in order to use it. That was a huge song back in the day.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, totally. So, and then not to mention like all the Psychopathic writers and stuff too. That's why I don't feel badly about stealing so much content. Not stealing, but like ripping things off of DVDs and uploading them to my YouTube channel. Because it's like, well, fuck. Nobody takes more shit from other people than Psychopathic. I mean, that sounds negative, but it's not negative. They do it all the time. So
fuck it.
Yeah, fuck it.
So what do you think about Blahzay Roze hinting at a comeback on Instagram today?
Yeah, I didn't know about that until you said something about it on Twitter, and then I went to her Instagram and looked at it. It was mostly just, from what I saw, there was a picture of her, and then someone asked if she was making a comeback, and she said that she was, something like that. Yeah, she did hint at it. She'd hinted at it somehow. And then
it almost looks like a still from a music video.
Yeah, that is what it looked like. Someone asked her on another post also if she's back with Psychopathic, and she said no. And then someone said, "Are you going to sign to MNE?" And then she went on this whole fuck Twisted thing. So,
oh Jesus!
Obviously, she's not going over there anytime soon. But I think she's poised for a comeback. The time seems right. Enough time has passed since the last CD and everything. It's like, why not go for it now? I felt like she never reached her full potential with that album anyway. So, yeah, I was always hoping she would make some more. What do you think about it?
I will not listen to it or anything.
Okay. All right. So there you go. Sounds like you are not here for it at all. Let me see what's going on in the chat a little bit. Pig Venus, what up to him? He says they straight jacked Alice in Chains for Man in the Box. Yeah, that is clearly the one to which I was referring when I said they're stealing huge chunks of other songs.
Yeah.
I didn't want to name names, but that is the one. Clown Love Brett says Game Over is a good song. Sure fucking is.
That beat by Devereaux. Devereaux is... I love his production.
Yeah, he rocks. He's a cool guy, too. He's always like... Not always, but sometimes he hits me up to... say I did a good show or something. So,
yep.
Shout out to him for sure. He's a good man. Speak your clout, says Blahzay Roze is so trash. A lot of people have that opinion, so
I agree.
What are you gonna do? Joker's Gallery says Blahzay's verse on that "If We Were a Gang" track was good. Her victim gimmick was stale. See, I think that's where Violent J kind of fucked her over a little bit, because that was how he introduced her. Like when they were talking about Blahzay Roze at the gathering at their seminar, that was how he put it. He said, most psychopathic artists are from the role of the killer, and Blahzay is more like from the role of the victim. And that was before anyone had heard the music on it. And I think that set a really bad tone. Like people were already going into it with a bad attitude because that was the way that he introduced it. So I always thought that she got kind of a bad draw on that.
That, and it's somebody nobody's ever heard of.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one thing Psychopathic kind of fucks up on when signing new acts is they don't get anybody with any kind of buzz. It just feels like some random person. Like that's how I felt about Boondocks, even though he was in that Underground Psychos contest or whatever it was called.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I felt like he was just some random fucking dude with a scarecrow gimmick, and I was like, no, I'm good.
That's interesting that you call that a fuck up, because I think that's I think that's an asset. I like it that way. They pick the people that have no kind of background so that they can create something for them. Like, I think that's what makes Psychopathic so distinctly unique that way. Otherwise, they would just be another Strange Music or something. But
yeah, I mean, Violent J likes coming up with gimmicks for people and shit like that.
yeah, he's good at it. Yeah, I mean, he created that whole Scarecrow gimmick, so he obviously knew what he was doing to some degree. He pretty much gave that guy a whole career. So
yeah.
I
mean, a lot of people like him. So I mean, it did work out. But I'd like to see them. I know they're not going to sign. I don't think they're signing anybody anymore. But I mean,
there's no way of knowing. If the right person came along at any time, it could happen. I don't think that they should. But even right before they signed Blahzay, they said we're not signing anyone else, because that was like right as like everybody was leaving and stuff and that kind of shit. So they said we're not going to sign anyone else, and then they signed Blahzay like just a few months later. Just like, okay, you just said you weren't signing anyone.
Right. I mean, they did sign Ouija, and I was familiar with Swagtooth.
Yeah, and Light had a CD before as well. I mean, they've said that it gets harder and harder to find people that have no background now with the internet. It's like everybody has a name, so it's harder and harder to do it the way that they used to do it. But yeah, they'll probably just have no choice from now on but to just sign people that already have some kind of a following.
Right. Yeah. I mean, everything is so easy to do now compared to what it was back in the day. And nobody's really waiting around for a record label anymore. People are just going out and doing this shit themselves.
Mm-hmm.
As they should. And I thought that Swagtooth shit was all right. I remember I saw one video and they were rocking like Esham shirts and shit. I was like, whoa.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And they all dude with the long ass dreads, choir boy. Like, they had a few bangers.
Yeah, I can't really get into any of the pre-Psychopathic Ouija business, but yeah, I don't even know who they would sign now if they were gonna sign somebody. I don't really know like who has a name. I don't really know shit. I don't know. I usually don't know about somebody until they get signed. Like, I had always heard about AXE, and then I never really bothered to listen to them until they signed with MNE. So that's just kind of how I am. It helps to filter out all the garbage.
Right.
I can't stand listening to garbage, so I usually end up missing a lot of really good shit too, because I usually just wait until someone gets a cosign.
Yeah, I love looking for listening to new shit. And if it's garbage, I mean, I'm only going to waste about 30 to 45 seconds of my life on deciding if I like it or not. How long
it takes? It's 45 seconds. I can't fuck with
like this. If I play the first song, 20 seconds into it, doesn't grab my attention. All right, maybe this song sucks. Go to the next one. Oh, that one sucks too. Well, I just assume you suck and I won't listen to you again.
Wow, that's harsh.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess it's more harsh of me to not even give it a chance, but it's just, there's so many artists out there.
Oh, yeah.
There's still shit that I really want to hear that I still haven't. Like, it takes me a long time. Even the artists I'm a big fan of, God, I'm like ashamed to even admit this, but like, still haven't heard like that Stevie Stone and JL album from last year. I think that was last year. It seems like fucking forever ago now. Mm-hmm. And I remember before that came out, even with the single, I was like, damn, this is gonna be fat. And I still haven't fucking heard it. And it's just feels like shit's coming out quicker than I can listen to it now.
That's a good album.
I'm sure it is, damn it. So I need to fucking get on that. I honestly, up until like this moment, now that we're talking about it, I kind of forgot about it for a long time. Now I'm like, oh shit, I'd actually never got around to that. So yeah, it's tough to keep up. What else happened this week? I got some I like to think that everything that is talked about on this show is juggalo related to some degree, but I have some mainstream topics, I guess you would call them.
Okay.
I watched that Motley Crue movie on Netflix. Have you seen that?
I haven't. I keep seeing people post about it, and I do want to check it out.
It's getting bad reviews from critics. I thought it was awesome. I watched it 2 times, and I don't even really give a fuck about Motley Crue at all, really.
Yep.
So I don't really know what I was expecting, but I knew that Machine Gun Kelly was playing Tommy Lee, so
I heard he did really good.
that was weirdly kind of a weird selling point for me, just because I was interested to see that. And I don't even like particularly love Machine Gun Kelly's music. Like, I could name the songs he has that I like on one hand probably, but I thought he did a great job acting. He's a better actor than he is rapper. If you ask me, he should just hang up the rapping and stick with the acting. But
I saw somebody else post that today.
You might like it or hate it. It has like a 46% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes and then like an 85% audience score. So it's like there's a pretty big gap there. Most people are just criticizing the fact that it's like toxic masculinity and shit. I've been seeing that going around a lot of the reviews.
It was the 80s.
That's what I'm saying. It's a fucking 80s hair metal glam rock band. What do you think? There wasn't a lot of like hashtag me too going on at the time. No. All they're doing is putting the shit that really happened. So it's like, I don't buy that as a valid critique since it's not about the movie. Yeah, I mean, people are giving it a bad review, but what they're really doing is giving a bad review to toxic masculinity, which I agree is a bad thing. Right. But that has nothing to do with if the movie is good or not. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe the movie wasn't that good, but I thought the acting really carried it. I would recommend it to anyone, whether you're interested or not interested in Motley Crue.
I mean, Motley Crue's whatever. I mean, if a Motley Crue song comes on, I'm not going to hate it. And I remember watching their Behind the Music special on VH1 back in the day.
That was like the extent of my knowledge of Motley Crue before I watched the movie.
They had some crazy fucking stories. So.
Oh, yeah. And there's a spoiler alert, but there is an Ozzy Osbourne scene in the movie. So
that's awesome.
That is pretty good.
Yeah, so, that's on my list for things to watch for sure.
I consider that tangentially Juggalo related because Machine Gun Kelly is in it, and he has in fact performed at the gathering of the Juggalos. I believe that was 2015. He went on right before ICP, so that's like the prime spot of the whole gathering. Mm-hmm. He went on the last night right before ICP, so he fucking killed it. Like, he's like a big like mainstream celebrity, and he did a real mainstream celebrity performance. Like, he did not hold back. I believe he drove a car on stage, like that was his entrance, like a car like rode in from the side of the stage. So I was sold right from that. And then of course while he's rapping, he's like jumping on top of the car and shit. So he fucking killed it at that performance. Even though I don't really love a lot of his music, I'll always respect him for that, fucking putting on a fantastic show there. Who do you think you would like to see at the gathering this year? Big names, but don't go crazy. Right. Medium level, yeah.
Right.
Medium to high.
I'd like to see them reach out to like more like underground boom bap type styles like Jedi Mind Tricks, Ill Bill, Slain, La Coca Nostra even. That would be fucking dope. I think that would go over really well at the gathering.
Yeah, it would. Definitely. It was kind of rough at the Oklahoma gathering with no Strange and no MNE. It was a little bit slim pickings.
Right. Yeah, I'm trying to think of who else would be dope at the gathering this year.
We were talking about this on your show earlier today, but it would be nice if they could bring in any version of 3-6 Mafia possible. If you get GCJ and DJ Paul together, then that alone is enough. But if you could step it up with a Crunchy and then step it up even more with a Gangsta Boo, that would be pretty unreal.
That would be pretty fucking dope. Even just a solo DJ Paul set would be dope. Dirtball, because he just put out Skull Hollow. I'm still bumping that album. I love that album. Who else?
Yeah, I'm looking at the chat. Gino Blaze says bring back Big B. That would be good.
Big B's the shit.
I wonder if the Cottonmouth Kings will be there doing whatever God knows what they're doing.
What the fuck is the Cottonmouth Kings doing at this point?
Who knows?
It's so confusing.
Super Gathering would be a good place to do that. Well, you got any other topics?
No, we did mention the Blahzay Roze thing, the brother CD. I think that pretty much covers it.
Yeah, why don't you talk about your podcast for a little bit before we sign off here? Beneath the Dirt
podcast. I drop every Monday. iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, pretty much everywhere you listen to podcasts. Every Wednesday on my YouTube, I do Wicked Shit Wednesday like I did tonight. Yeah, beneathdirt.com. Go there. You'll find all the links for where you need to go.
All right, then. You can go to all my shit is at murdermayhemshow.com. All that good stuff. On that note, I think that just about does it. So, peace out.
Peace out.